What's up, y'all? So, I'm so glad to talk about what we talking about today. We talk about money, okay? Y'all know I love to save a coin and to invest a coin and get my coins all the way together. So, I thought that I should come here and talk about money. So, let's get into today's episode. Welcome to the Sunny Days Podcast. I am your host, Sunny Brooks, and I'm so excited to have you. This show was created to inspire women to heal from their past, take control of the present, and manifest their future. Here you will get love, laughter, support, and straight realness. So if you're ready to get rid of your shit and live unapologetically, this is for you. Let's start healing, living, and fucking manifesting. So today's Sunny Gems is do a budget. So I know there's some new people here. So Sunny Gems is just where I give you tips, tricks, or tools in regards to upgrading your spirituality, your wellness, or even your overall life. So the gem for today is do a budget. Why did I decide to make that a gem? Is because not only are we talking about money today, but I really believe if you are budgeting your money, your life is so much easier and so much better. Because you're not worrying about where your money went or not having enough money, but you know exactly everything that your money is doing with your budget. So, doing a budget, I always have budget my money. I have always did it since I was a kid. I don't know why. I'm like obsessed. My dad would give me allowance and stuff, and I'll be on a piece of paper like, okay, this is how much I have for this day. This is how much I have for that day. And then the older I got, I kind of got away from it, but I still kind of was very cautious about the choices I made with money, because I know that your money could either make you your money could actually make you better or make you worse, if that makes sense. So I always try to make smart decisions with money. But doing a budget is something that I do every month. I actually, sorry about that. That was my phone. I actually do the budget at the end of every month. So at the end of January, around the 25th, I'll do a budget for February, and then I'll check back in the middle of February around the 15th and say, okay, let me see how everything, kind of like a check-in, let me see how everything's going. Let me see if I'm sticking to the budget, if I need to adjust some numbers or something like that. And then at the end of the month, again, so February like 25th-ish, I will close out my budget and say, okay, well, this not 25th. It will actually be the last day of the month. I will close out the budget and see how I did, see if there's things that I can improve on next month and things like that. So when doing a budget, a lot of times people think that you can't spend or you can't buy things or you can't go places, and that's not the case. It's just a budget basically tells your money where to go. So of course, if you budget to spend on certain things, if you budget to go certain places, you can do that. Just stick to your budget. And there are some months that you're going to blow your budget out of the park. Like you're going to overspend or you're going to underspend, and that's okay. But the point of budgeting is to stay on top of your money. And I have seen a very big change in my life and in my finances when I have started budgeting consistently. I have always budget, but to pen and paper budget technically 3 times a month, right? 2 to 3 times a month has changed. And a lot of times people are scared to look at their money, and I get it. It's anxiety. It gave me anxiety. It still gives me anxiety, especially after a weekend. You know how like you'll go somewhere and you'll just be like swiping your card, and then on Monday some be like, check your bank app, and you're like, I ain't gonna check it. It's like anxiety. So I get it. It gives you anxiety, but we need to get over that so we can start living in abundance and taking control of our money. A budget is just putting together all of your income, all of the money that you're going to make, and then subtracting all of your expenses, and then doing something with your disposable income. So say if you make $3,000 a month, you say, okay, my income is $3,000 a month and my expenses is $2,000 a month. So now I have $1,000 disposable income. And those expenses is, of course, like your necessities, your rent, your your mortgage, your lights, your food, your clothes, that type of thing. And when I say clothes, I mean clothes like that's a necessity, not clothes because you want them. Like if the weather change and things like that. And then you have $1,000 disposable income. Now, what you do with that disposable income is based off what you budget. You may budget for it to go into savings, to invest it, to do whatever you please, but to pay off debt. So just do a budget, okay? I'm kind of rambling now, but I want you to do a budget. I challenge you for the next few days. Look at your money, look how much money you make, and look how much money you're spending. And you will see, you will blow your mind away, okay? Because when you put out the amount of money, especially when we always say, oh, I don't make enough money, I feel like I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul and all that stuff. When we actually look at the money we make and be like, God damn, where did all that money go? I ain't see it. I ain't see that much money. Exactly, because you asking where your money went rather than telling your money where to go. So I encourage you to look at your finances, to do a budget and to stick to it. Like do it for the next few days since it's almost the end of February. But at the top of March, make sure you set a budget and you will see that it's not hard. It is very uncomfortable because a lot of times we're not used to it, but it's beautiful and it helps our life and improve our life and gives us a different type of money confidence when we know exactly what our money is doing and where our money is going. So, Sunny Gems for today is do a budget already, okay? All right, so today Sunny Speaks is manifest abundance and let go being broke. For those who don't know, Sunny Speaks is where I just cover the episode's topic. And today we're going to talk about manifesting abundance and letting go of being broke. So I don't have anything specifically written down, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be good just because I wanted to speak from the heart on this matter and not so much from plans. But when we speak about manifestation, we're talking about bringing the things that we think about, that we feel, and that we want to reality. So this may be known as the law of attraction. You know how people say what you see, what you focus on is what you get, what you speak is what you get, that type of thing. So when it comes to manifesting, I believe it's possible, and I believe manifesting is very powerful because I have done it and I still do it to this day. But a lot of times when we talk about manifesting, we forget to talk about the action that needs to go with it. So we will say, hey, we can manifest this new job, this amount of money, this type of partner. But we also forget that there's action that needs to back it up. I do believe you can manifest some things without action, but I believe the best manifestations come from work and action that you put into it. And when it comes to manifesting abundance, there has to be some work that we do, right? Just sitting here thinking about it, especially when it comes to money, if we don't want to look at our finances, if our finances bring us anxiety, if our finances cause us to get all crazy and all anxious, right, inside, that's a feeling that we're going to keep manifesting. So it's hard to manifest abundance with the feeling of anxiety that our money can bring. So if you are having troubles with your money, right, or if you're having troubles with budgeting or paying off debt or investing or anything like that, a lot of times that stem from some core issues and some core beliefs. When you basically feel like you're living paycheck to paycheck, robbing Peter to pay Paul, or money burns a hole in your hand, those are limiting beliefs. Those are beliefs that we gain from somewhere or someone, most likely when we were a child. Our money habits come from how we seen our parents deal with money, the things our parents and the adults around us said about money when we were growing up. If they always said, hey, I can't never get ahead, I can't seem to get ahead, or the more like how do you say it? I take 5 steps forward to get not 10 steps back, things like that. As children, we absorb those things, and then we grow up and have money issues ourselves, not knowing that it comes from a belief. And it depends on what the belief is, because a lot of times we want to manifest money, but we don't even believe that we are worthy of the success that money may bring. Or we want to manifest money and we can't even manage the money we already have. Shit, let me talk about that for a second. When we thinking about and when we want to manifest more money and say, hey, I want a higher paying job, or I want to bring in multiple streams of income, or anything like that, we need to think about, can we even manage what we already have? Think about that. Because if you can't manage $100, I say this all the time. I have to say it at least once or twice a week. Probably more than that. If you can't manage the money that you have, you can't manage more. If you cannot manage $1,000, how the hell do you expect yourself to manage $100,000 or $1,000,000? Financial literacy does not come with more money. A lot of people feel that, like, oh, the more money I get, and if I make this amount, if I get this much, then I won't have to worry about this, or then I'll start doing this. And that's not how it works. Financial literacy starts with your money that you currently have. All right, you can't wait to become financially literate when you get more money, because it's just not how it works. Especially being that money is so emotional. We're so emotional with our money. So we'll say we're going to do one thing, but then when we get the money, we do a totally different thing because we're guided by our emotions with our money. Let's think about lottery winners for a second, right? When you think of lottery winners, a lot of times I rarely have seen any rich people win the lottery. It's normally people who are middle class or below middle class, and when they receive the money, a lot of times that money is gone within a year. And I'm talking about 100 million, 300 million, 500 million, shit, even a million. They blow through that money. You want to know why? It's because they were not financially literate with the money they already had. So you can't hope and wish that, oh, when I get this amount of money, I'm going to do this. How can you hold yourself accountable to do that thing if you can't even hold yourself accountable to do a thing with a smaller amount of money? You can think about the same thing with jobs. You see people that's like, and I have seen it in my personal life with people that I know, like they'll be making 25, 28, maybe even $28,000 a year, and then they say, oh, when I get this, when I make more money, or when I get a job that pays me at least this, then I'll be able to stop living paycheck to paycheck, or I'll be able to afford this and do this. Granted, if you make a little bit of money, you are living paycheck to paycheck, but you can still make smart financial decisions, right? But then when that person got a new job, or when they got a raise or anything like that, and then they get the $50,000 or $55,000, and then they still feel like they live in paycheck to paycheck, and they say, well, I know I make $50,000 now, but only when I make $75,000, or only when I make six figures, then I'll be able to afford this and do this. Like, no, you can afford things now. You just have to learn to manage your money and stop allowing your money to manage you. That's the thing. So I gave those examples just so you can think about how financial literacy is important at every stage. And the more money you make, it's not going to solve your problems. That's the thing. I know a lot of people say, oh, I get more money, I'll be able to pay off debt, I'll be able to buy a car, buy a house, and then it's going to solve my problems. Well, it may make the load lighter and make some things easier, but it's not going to solve your problems if you don't know how to manage the money you already have. And a lot of times when we don't manage the money we have, it gets in the way of manifesting more money. And I know we don't like to think about it like that, but a lot of times the things we manifest and the things we don't manifest is because of us and our doing. So when we just basically let our money do what it want to do, or what we want to do with our money, and sometimes not what we need to do with our money, it blocks our manifestations for abundance. How can we expect to be abundant when we are operating out of a scarcity mindset or a lack mindset with the money we have. How can we expect to manifest more money when the money we currently have, we basically keep telling it it's not enough? So, yeah, you gotta let go being broke. And I use the word broke very lightly. But I use that word because I know a lot of people resonate with that word. And a lot of people be like, oh, I'm broke. I'm broke. I swear, before I would never say I was broke. You know what I used to say? I used to be like, I'm between blessings. I'm in between blessings. I ain't broke because ain't nothing broken about me. My pockets ain't broke. My work ethic ain't broke. Ain't nothing broken about me. I'm just in between blessings. So you have to be careful of your words, your thoughts, and even how you just feel about money if you're trying to manifest abundance. So you can manifest abundance. I believe in that. But you have to first let go of being broke. What does let go of being broke mean? Stop robbing Peter to pay Paul. Stop buying shit just to buy shit and just to have stuff and more stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff to fill a void that not material things or not money can fill, that you have to go with inside and heal and fill that within yourself, right? That's a lot of times what we do with money. We buy things so we can have a lot of things and stuff and more stuff and other stuff, and we realize that we in a whirlwind of shit and got a whole bunch of stuff but still feel empty inside and still feel lost inside. So let go of being broke is letting go broke ass habits. I'm not even going to sit here and sugarcoat it with you. It's like letting go broke ass habits. Like broke ass habits. I'm not saying don't spend your money. What I'm just saying is like, okay, you walking around with these nice ass shoes and it's expensive ass designer bag. How much money you got in the designer bag? You got $1,000 designer bag on, but your bill's past due. Your account's overdraft. That's what I mean, let go being broke. We keep doing broke ass shit and want to know why we feel like we broke all the time. That's why. You know how they say the rich stay rich by acting broke and the broke stay broke by acting rich. It is true. Shit, is it? I think it's like, fucking Bill Gates. Dude is filthy. He's loaded, right? He's filthy rich. And he still drives he probably has a chauffeur or something and his other cars, but he drive like a Honda Accent on an everyday basis. But soon as we get some money, we go buy the fucking Maybachs and the Rolls Royce and the McLarens and all that shit. For what? Not saying that you don't deserve it. That's not what I'm saying. But you have to start thinking in a way of assets versus liabilities. Assets versus liabilities. Right? Is this an asset or is this a liability? And a lot of shit that we buy ain't assets. Yeah, you could probably sell your Jordan collection, but ain't nobody sitting there talk about, oh, this person is a multi-billionaire because they own every Jordan that ever was released. What? No. Assets. That's property, stocks, bond, shit, different, what are they called? Resources. So like owning oil, things like that. Gold, silver. Cars is also an asset. Some, depending on who you ask. I don't think it's an asset because it depreciates in value. As soon as you drive it off the lot, it has depreciating value. You can buy a car for $20,000 and you can go tomorrow and be like, I want to return it. And they're going to be like, oh, well, you probably can only get 15. It depreciates in value, right? Jewelry has some sort of value. But a lot of times those things are seen, who we consider the rich and the famous. They have all the jewelry and the nice clothes and shit. But when you look at the people who are wealthy, you don't see them walking around with big ass chains and iced out wrists and shit. I can name a few, right? Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg. Shit, let's think about some black people. Jay-Z, P. Diddy, Oprah Winfrey. They own art pieces, fucking networks and companies and stocks and buildings and real estate, that type of stuff. So when I mean like we can manifest abundance, we can. But before we try to manifest abundance, we legit gotta let go of being broke. If we okay and complacent and comfortable with being broke, ain't no abundance. We can't get there with a broke mentality and a broke mindset. And there's a few things that like I truly believe in. Y'all know I'm always trying to save a coin. But at the same time, there are things that I have in place and that I continue to work on to get my shit together, like to be financially literate, because I do not want to be one of the people who are financially illiterate and get a hold of a large amount of money and blow it and don't know where the fuck it went, or make a whole bunch of money and still trying to live paycheck to paycheck because I don't know how to handle my money, or I'm spending money on dumb shit. So I guess if I had to give you some tips that you can start doing to look at your money and start working towards manifesting abundance, because we can't work against manifesting abundance. That's the thing. We can manifest it, but if we're working against it with poor ass habits and poor money habits, then we're working against manifesting abundance. I hope that makes sense. But some things that I would say that we should definitely start looking at and considering and doing when it comes to letting go of being broke and working on our money skills will be, the first thing is budgeting. And these are in no particular order, just because I don't have them written down or anything. I'm just going off my dome and telling you things that I do. But budgeting, that's something that I do every month. I figure out all of the money that is coming in and then all of the money that's going out, and then what to do with the disposable income. And disposable income is the money you have left over after your expenses, right? So budgeting is so important. I know it gives you probably anxiety and makes you all nervous, but you got to get past that and push past that. And a side note, like, I do believe in certain financial philosophies like Dave Ramsey and things like that, but I am not a go hard Dave Ramsey believer, because Dave Ramsey believe in not having a life and paying off debt. I don't believe in that. I believe I can do both. I believe I can pay off debt and save. I believe I can travel but also budget my money. I believe I can invest but also pay off debt at the same time. I believe I can do all those things, right? And Dave Ramsey doesn't really believe that, which is fine. There are some great things that I have gotten from him, like paying off debt, right? Emergency funds and things like that. There are some great ideas that he have, but there's multiple philosophies that I have read up on, and I use what works for me. And that's one thing that I would advise for you, to use what works for you. As long as you're making progress and moving up on the financial ladder and not moving backwards, that's what matters. But yes, budgeting, doing what works for you, paying down debt. Pay off as much debt as you can, okay? As much as you can, because debt is a negative thing, right? And when I mean negative, I don't mean negative like good or bad. I mean negative like a negative number, like negative, like integer type stuff, like mathematics. Like, it's a negative number. That's something you owe somebody. You owe them something. So paying off as much debt as possible, right? Paying off the hospital bills, the credit card bills, the loans, and things like that. Currently, right now, the only thing I have left, my wife and I, we only have our student loans in debt. Everything else, we had paid off credit cards and things like that over the number of years. And paying off debt is something that we do, but we don't put all of our money into paying all of our, what is the word I was just using? We don't use all of our disposable income off paying off our student loans, just because, y'all, that's a different topic for a different day. But paying off debt, paying off your car, paying off things like that, right? That's another thing you can do and work on. Savings, having a savings. I believe in having multiple savings accounts, right? One being a emergency fund. That emergency fund is for emergencies, right? Decide what an emergency is, because an emergency is not you got to get your hair done for the concert on Friday. That's not a damn emergency. An emergency is like your tire just went flat or you need a new tire. That's an emergency. Some shit that you can't expect, that you're not expecting, right? So emergency fund. I always say at least $1,000 in your emergency fund, but it depends on where you live, right? Because you may live in an area that $1,000 can't get you nowhere. Like Miami is one of them, Los Angeles, New York, right? It's like, yeah, $1,000 emergency is less likely to happen than not, than it is rather. So having an emergency fund, $1,500 to $2,500, just an emergency fund that's going to cover an emergency for you. Perfect example of when I used the emergency fund towards the I think last year October was I had to get a whole new muffler system. It was like almost $1,000, and what I did, I went into our emergency fund and got that. Could I have cash floated and just used money from our checkings account? Possibly, but that probably would have threw me off budget with other bills and things like that. So what we did was pay for it out of our emergency fund and then replenish our emergency fund the following month. So that's one thing that I advise, having an emergency fund. I also advise having a long-term fund, a long-term savings fund. What is the long-term savings fund? About 3 to 6 months of expenses. 3 to 6 months expenses. So if something was to happen, if you was to lose your job, the recession was to hit, things like that, are you going to be able to still withstand without having to, lose everything? So 3 to 6 months of expenses. That is up to you. You can do 3 months. You can do 6 months, 4 months, whatever you want. But I believe at least 3 to 6 months of expenses should be your long term. And then there's there's like 3 other savings you can do. 2, but I'll tell you guys. The third saving I'll go over with you is having a short-term savings. Short-term savings is for people who, short-term savings and sinking funds are used simultaneously, right? Because short-term savings is going to be like, oh, you want a new phone or you want a new watch. Basically, you want to make a bigger purchase that you want to save for, or you're going on a travel and you want to have $500, so you make a sinking fund, or the short-term, right? Whichever one is for you. Side note, also with long-term, some people save with long-term savings after they save their 3 to 6 months. If they want to buy a house or something, they make that a long-term savings account too. So any big purchases will be a long-term savings account in addition to a long-term savings account for your expenses. But what was I going to say? Yes, the sinking fund and short-term savings is basically you saving up money little by little for a goal that is coming soon. So you're going on a trip and you need $500 and you go in 6 months. So okay, I need to save at least $75 every month. So you put $75 up every month, and that's your vacation sinking fund. Or you want a new iPhone and you want to get it in October. Okay, well, that's 10 months away. Well, right now, 9 months away, but whatever. It's 10 months away, so you save $100 every month, right? Rather than financing or something. That's considered a sinking fund or short-term savings. So something, if you guys hear people in the background, I apologize, it's my neighbors. But some things that, what was I going to say? Oh, the reason why, well, I'll go over that next. And then another savings, which I wouldn't say the last savings, but these are the ones that I really incorporate in my life. Sinking funds, long-term, emergency, and sometimes I do buffers. Buffers is basically just getting a month ahead. So say if I want to create a buffer for my rent, and say if my rent is $1,000, so at all times I will always have an extra $1,000 in my account. So it's basically having your expenses in your account for a month ahead, if that makes sense. So say say if my rent's $1,000 and all of my other expenses is $1,500. So, and then I want to have a buffer for my expenses and my rent. So that's another $1,500. So at the end of every month, after all of my bills are paid, $1,500 should still be left in my account. So a buffer is basically like a cushion. You create a cushion for the money, for whatever expenses you want. And a lot of times people create buffers for their mortgage, their car, things like that. They're expensive. So it's similar to like your long-term savings, except for it's not a savings account. And the reason a lot of people do the buffer is one or two reasons. One, if they ever have problems with like getting another job, somebody will get another job the next month or something, or their paycheck take 3 weeks to come or something, they have the money there. Or two, you have bills coming out when before your paycheck hit, basically, and you don't have to worry about overdrafting and being in a negative because you have that buffer there at all times. So the reason for having these savings accounts is so that you don't keep going into debt, or you don't keep using your money from your bills to cover expenses that you know that you can prepare for. So your emergency savings is going to save you from putting something on a credit card. Your long-term savings is going to help you from taking out a small loan if you ever, need to. Your buffer is going to help you from overdrafting or basically robbing Peter to pay Paul. And then your sinking fund is going to help you prepare and plan for money that you're going to be dishing out soon. So I think I said budget, saving, paying off debt. What else? Investing. Okay, you can also invest the money into stocks and bonds and things like that. In real estate, a lot of people are buying like real estate properties, homes, and buildings and things like that. That's a great investment. People also invest in like 401k and Roth IRA, 401k, different retirement plans. Those are things, right? So investments is anything that you are going to look for getting a return on your money. And investments are things that I have started. No. Let me say this. I started last year, but I didn't finish. Basically, I started investing in stocks, and I'm very obsessive. So I was obsessing over the stocks every day, and I found myself not paying attention to what I needed to pay attention because I was checking my apps and things like that every single day, which is very obsessive. So that is something that I am getting into. My wife and I, we're going to start considering investing. Not considering, we will start investing, but we have sinking funds that we want to, what is the word I'm looking for? Fund. Sinking funds to fund, because we have paid off quite a bit of debt. So we're not worried about throwing large lump sums of money at debt right now. We have quite a bit of savings, and we want to buy a second vehicle. So we're doing a sinking fund for a second vehicle, and then we're doing a sinking fund for a baby. So we want to do those things, and we probably will do a sinking fund for the vehicle and get the vehicle, and then sinking fund for the baby and invest at the same time. That's probably what we'll do, just because you can never have too much money for a baby because babies are expensive. Did y'all know that I think it's between birth to 18, parents spend about approximately on average $250,000 on a child. That's $250,000 over 18 years. Anyways, so yeah. So yes, that's what I wanted to share. So investing is a thing, but just staying on top and tracking your money. And I tell you these things because they work and they help with manifesting, okay? They help. I know y'all wanted to probably only hear about manifesting money, but listen, you manifest the money through your actions too. And the more you take control of your finances, and the more you take control of the way you handle money, the more you will be able to accept the money that's coming into your life, and the more money you'll be able to manifest, because you are dealing with your money that you have currently better than you did before. You know how I always say express gratitude for what you have in order to get what you want. That is true, because that's part of expressing gratitude. You sitting down, spending time with your money. What other way to express gratitude and show that you appreciate your money by dedicating time and energy to focusing on that money, right? That's showing that's a sense of gratitude to that money. You're sitting there but you're sitting there holding space for your money and spending time and energy on budgeting your money. Then that's telling your money like, oh, I care about you because I am spending time to budget you. So you sending that out is going to bring you more money. It will. Trust me. It's going to be tough, but listen, it's okay. If y'all got more questions, let me know, because I briefly covered manifesting abundance and letting go of being broke. But let me know if y'all have questions about money or my journey or whatever. Y'all can DM me or email me. But let me know if y'all want to hear more about money talk, or what specifically y'all want to hear about money talk. But remember, I want y'all to manifest abundance, but first we got to let go of being broke, okay? Sunny things. What's going on with Sunny, and what some announcements that y'all should be aware of? The first things first is, if you don't know, I upload a new YouTube video on my YouTube channel every Wednesday, and I'm going to start uploading 2 times a week, but bear with me. So my YouTube is Sunny Brooks. You can go to youtube.com/Sunny Brooks, or just type in Sunny Brooks, but you'll find me. I upload a new video every Wednesday, and I have quite a few videos on there now, so go check that out. And if y'all have any specific things y'all want to see, y'all let me know, because I'm thinking about doing like maybe like some vlogs, so y'all can, even though I don't think I do a lot of interesting things on my day-to-day lives. However, I know some people want to see that, but I'm thinking about doing some vlogs, think about doing some food things and things like that, whatever. However, check out my YouTube channel at Sunny Brooks. Also, if you didn't already receive my newsletter, my Sunny Dose, which is I write a newsletter the first of every month and send it out to you all. So if you didn't receive that, be sure to join my email list so you can receive the recent or receive them going forward. And I send different recommendations. I let you know what's going on with me. I give you book suggestions and things like that. It's my Sunny newsletter, my Sunny Dose. So make sure you join my newsletter list for that. And then the podcast, of course, here I upload every 1st and 15th of every month. Let me know how you've been liking these new episodes and this new schedule, and what you want to see me improve on. And last but not least, if you did not know, Soulful Vibes Co. is a one-stop shop, spiritual shop. So I want you to go check out Soulful Vibes Co. You can go to the website soulfulvibesco.com, or follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest at Soulful Vibes Co. We provide all of your spiritual and metaphysical needs, from candles to incense to crystals and jewelry. So make sure you go stop and shop with Soulful Vibes Co. Sunny side is normally where I will be answering questions, but I don't have any questions, so guess what? I don't have any answers to give. So if y'all have any questions you want me to address here on Sunny Days podcast, make sure that you email me at sunny@iamsunnybrooks.com, or DM me on Instagram as Sunny Brooks. I am Sunny Brooks, and I'll answer your questions. But as of right now, I don't have any questions. So yeah, y'all make sure y'all give me questions, so on Sunny side y'all can get some answers. So Sunny Reads is where I do a card reading for you all and give you some insight on what Spirit wants to say. Last time I did the crystals deck. This time I am going to do my unicorn deck again. I think I have done the butterfly deck twice, and this is the second time I'm doing the unicorn deck. I love the unicorn deck because I resonate with the unicorns, which I'll probably tell that story at another time. But let's get into the reading. For those who don't know, I'll shuffle the card, pull a card, read from the book that comes with the deck. just so I am paying respect and letting the intentions of the creator of this book be known. And once I read from the book, if there's any information that is given to me and downloaded to me from spirit and my ancestors, I will go ahead and give that to you. Okay, so let's get into it. The card, let's see, the card that I pulled says definitely yes. The answer to your question is a strong yes. Okay, it says yes. Let's see what the book says, because that sounds good. Definitely yes. The answer to your question is a strong yes. What you're asking about will definitely happen, provided that you keep your thoughts positive. You can bring about your desires more quickly by paying attention to thoughts, feelings, words, or visions that repeat themselves to you. When this inner guidance asks you to take positive actions, it's important for you to do so. For instance, if you have strong feelings to call a certain person, then make that call. Your angels will always guide you to take actions that have positive and healthy effects on you and others. This card asks you to set aside doubts or worries and to feel secure that everything is positive. Your desires are going to happen, and probably in better than expected ways. Imagine that your dream has already come true, using your inner vision and your feelings as you do. You just need to stay filled with faith and hope and take action when you're guided. Okay? So, clearly y'all need to do something. Whatever you're being led to and guided to, it's time to act on it and do it, and trust and believe that it will work out for your favor, work out in your favor and work out for you. Just don't allow fear to get in the way. That's the message that I'm getting. Don't allow fear to get in the way, because when things tend to be uncomfortable or look different than what we're used to, we allow fear to stop us from acting on it. And I come to tell you today is kick fear to the side and actually tell yourself yes and allow yourself to experience that yes and actually go after the thing you want. So when you're being nudged and pushed in a direction to do something, do it. Don't second guess yourself. Don't doubt yourself. Just do it. Go after it, and tell yourself yes and allow yourself to accept the yes, because sometimes we get in the way of allowing ourselves to experience the best and experience what's better for us. So allow yourself to experience the yes. Tell yourself yes. It's a definitely yes. Go after it. Do the damn thing. And trust and believe that everything will work out for you and for your highest good.